Chavtas.
What? We're finishing.
We're finishing
Yud Aleph. Yud Aleph and then
Yud
Aleph
Aleph
is
to the
Gimel.
end. And Aleph, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So continuing in Hilchos Sefer Torah. So Yud Aleph. Ein like in Sefer Torah tefillin umezuzah and akum b'yosem b'kedei demain. You're not allowed to buy Sefer Torah, tefillin, mezuzahs, any tashmishe kedusha for more than its worth. So that the goyim won't get used to stealing. Meaning, if they know they can make money off of selling Sifrei Kodesh for a good profit, so then you can't, so don't buy from them. Just similar, unfortunately, to the whole hostage situation. You pay a lot of, if you give them a lot back for hostages, they're going to continue taking hostages, right? But for what it's worth, then you're chayav to buy it. Even if they need, even if you're gonna have to buy them and they're worn out, they're gonna have to be putting in these. I get this question sometimes. People go to yard sales, garage sales, thrift shops, and there's svarim there. You mechuyev to buy them. I don't know if you mechuyev. I don't know exactly what the gather is about because this is talking about tefillin mezuzahs. And let's say the guy wants a lot of money.
I'm saying if you would go to a yard sale and see a pair of tefillin, you'd have to buy them?
Tefillin, yes, 100%. But a lot of times they're not going to be kosher. That's the thing.
You don't know on the spot if they're kosher or not.
Correct. So it would be best if you say, "Oh, can I have these for a bit and I want to bring them, see if they're kosher, and then I'll pay you for them if they're kosher."
But it says, it says I feel it's geniza.
What?
It says even if they need geniza, you have to buy them.
Correct, but if they were never kosher in the first place, and then they don't need.
There's no kedusha.
Yeah, yeah. Because if the akum wants a lot of money for them, then you have to be Isaac. Speak to him with divrei ritzui. Ula yishva ima b'kedei damav. Perhaps he will. He'll sell them for whatever they're worth. And if he's stubborn, it means he's standing with his das. Then just leave it with him. And don't ask the guy to give it to you for cheap either. Meaning, if you this is a lesson in how to negotiate. If you how do you call it? If you underbid, I don't know whatever the word is. If you bid too low, the guy's just going to blow you off.
Undervaluate.
Not undervaluate. You give him, you lowball. That's the word. If you lowball him, he's just going to say, these stupid Jews. And he said, pen yichos. He's going to just get angry. He's just going to throw them away. He said, it wasn't worth stealing. These Jews don't care. And just throw the whole thing away. So you have to know, you have to use seichel with exactly how to negotiate with him. Yud beis, sefer Torah miyadoi, right? If the sefer Torah falls from his hand, afilu ben artika, even if it's case or cover, tzarich l'sanis, he has to fast. So you see, the Kitzur is only saying that the person who dropped the Torah has to fast, right? It doesn't say that people seeing it, but then he says, and the minig is that even those that saw the sefer Torah fall, fast. But me'ikar adin, it's only the person that dropped it. Yud Gimel also lift a pasuk b'li sirtut. You are not allowed to write a pasuk without scratch. Meaning sirtut is the scratches. I don't know if there's the right word in the the lines that are on the cloth. So you're not allowed to use a thing without that. Yeshaimrim to also lichtav divrei chol. Some say you're not allowed to write divrei chol b'ksav ashuris shekosim b'yatayra. You're not allowed to write mundane things with ksav ashuris that you write in the Torah. I mean, you can't write Sefer Torah writing for mundane things. Rav Heinemann from Baltimore has an interesting minig where he writes his haskamas to people's svarim. When he gives haskamas to people's svarim, he writes it in ksav ashuris. I don't remember what his reasoning was for that, but it's an interesting thing if you ever see a haskama from him. Okay, that's Siman Chav Ches. Siman Chav Tes is, David, are you complaining about Musar in the Kitzur Shulchan Aruch? This Siman has lots of Musar.
I am not complaining.
I'm not, whatever. If you
I need all the Musar I can get.
Yeah, so I think you were complaining about the Musar, just saying, is this a Musar sefer or halacha sefer? So this Siman gets into a lot of Musar also. Okay, so midas midas that a person has to make himself make and what's a lashon yargil? He has to constantly make himself have. So anoshim chalukim heim b'deyasem. Pirush b'tevim. This is unto itself a mussar. This paragraph. Everybody is different. You have some people who are, what do they call it? Predisposed, I think is the way they say it nowadays. Right? You have somebody who's predisposed to be angry and constantly. And then you have a guy who has Yishuv Adas, he never gets angry. He never gets upset. Or once every few years he gets angry. You have somebody who is a big bagay. And then you have people who are low spirited, meaning they what do you call it? They have an inferior, what do you call it? Inferiority complex, whatever it is. Yeshu Bal Taiva. There's some people that just have taivas. They're never satisfied. Yeshu Leiv Tarmar, and then you have people that have a very pure heart. They're so the other way. They don't even want the minimum that they need to survive. Yesh Bal Nefesh Rechava. You have somebody who's very broad. His nefesh is broad. He's not satisfied with all the money in the world. Somebody who loves money is never going to be satisfied with money. And then there are those that are cheap. And it's enough of even a small amount. He doesn't even get things that he needs. And he doesn't even go after things that are, what do you call it? Staples, basic necessities. There are people that just like to punish themselves with hunger. And they gather all their money and they hoard it, like hoarders, I would call it. And when he has to eat on his own, he eats it pitzar. Those guys that bum the cigarettes and they never buy the cigarettes themselves, right? And then there are those that just spend their money totally, as they call, irresponsible spending. And every midah and all deus mentalities could go in mahailol va'aining. You have some people that are mahailol, they're always literally means from the word halal. You have some people that are always happy va'aining. You have people that are always sad. Kilai v'shoya. You have people that are cheap, and you have people that are generous. Achzari. You have people that are mean. V'rachaman. And you have people that have a lot of pity. Rach levav. You have people with soft hearts. V'amitz levav. You have those with hard hearts. And all these things that are similar. So which way are we supposed to be? So Beis Haderech Hatoiva Yasharu, the proper way is Sheyagal Adam Satzin Lechas B'derech Emtzoi. Everybody should go down the middle. You should only desire things that the body needs. And you can't live without them. A tzaddik eats just enough to satisfy himself. I'm working on this every day. I keep saying to myself, if you overeat, that means that is a lack of Yiras Shamayim. Maybe I'm being a little extreme, but it seems like that's what the Kitzur is saying. Eat only for what you need to keep your body going. If you eat more than that, then you're not doing the Ratzon of Hashem. You should only, this is very difficult for anybody growing up in the American society. A person should only work at his business and get davar that he needs for right then and there. Meaning you don't have to you worry about earning money for down the road and for what do you call it? Retirement nest. That's what they call it. For retirement and this and that. For a tzaddik, good is a little bit. But also don't be too cheap. But also don't spend your money. Meaning literally means don't throw around money. Could be misas yada. You should give tzedakah according to your ability. And lend people money the way they should. And don't be too happy and too laughing, meaning too much lisanis, but also don't be too depressed. You should be happy all your days with nachas, meaning from the word menucha, like resting, meaning you should be peaceful. B'sever panim yafas, and have a good, happy disposition. V'chein b'shar roiv amidas, and the same thing with most other midas. Misha'ala b'derech emtzai nikra chacham. If you go in the middle road, that you call the chacham. That's what tznius is. Tznius is you should be hidden. Tznius does not only apply to men, to women, it also applies to men. Don't stand out. Just be average. Gimel, hagaiva, he mida ra ma'oid, but gaiva is a terrible mida. And a person you're not allowed to have even the smallest amount of gaiva. You should always have a low spirit. You should be very much humble. How do you get yourself to be an honor? So all your words, don't raise your voice, right? Because once you raise your voice, that means you're trying to show that you're somebody. Your head should be bent over. And your eyes should be always looking down. But your heart should be up, meaning to Hashem. And you should think that every person is bigger than you. If he's a bigger Talmud Chacham than you, then you have to show him respect. If he's more wealthy than you, right? This is not just called kissing up to the wealthy. There's a chiyuv to be mechaber the wealthy. Rebbe, who was wealthy himself, was mechaber ashirim. Now, why should I respect the wealthy? This is an important line. You have to think that if Hashem decided that this person is supposed to be wealthy, Hashem is no fool, right? If Hashem decided that this person is right to have wealth, then there's a reason for that. And Memel, if Hashem respected him enough to entrust him with lots of money, then we have to respect him too, right? It's hard to grasp that sometimes, but that's the way the kids are saying it. Let's say he has less money than you and less knowledge. Then think, well, maybe he has less knowledge and he has less money, but he's a bigger tzaddik. Why? Because if he is over an avera, he's a shaygin because he's not so smart or he's not so wealthy, so he has to cut corners. But you, who's a smart guy, and you have money, and you're over an avera anyway, so then you're amazing. If this is the way you constantly think about people, like suchalis guys, it's impossible to be a Balgaiva, the Taiv L'cha, and it will be good. It'll be good for you. I have to tell you, on my way to Phoenix, I flew to Phoenix on Sunday to give a shir, and I thought, okay, what's a big deal? I'll fly in and out of Phoenix in one day. I'll learn on the plane. What's the difference? I learn on the plane, or in Bismedish. The guy sits himself down next to me. This tall guy, he takes out a New York Times crossword puzzle book, with a pencil and those pink erasers from school, half worn out. And the guy did the New York Times crossword puzzles, looking in the back, erasing the entire flight. He dozed off for a few minutes, and otherwise he was in his crossword puzzles didn't take out his phone once. Here it is. I think I'm going to be this big shot. I'm going to learn. Everybody else is watching movies, and I'm this big shot learning. This guy outdid me in the hasmada. Like he just totally whooped me in the hasmada part. I should have spoken.
Did he ask you for help at all?
He did not ask me for help, but I should have. I should have realized at the end of the flight. I should have asked this guy, what is his deal? I mean, it was unbelievable. It was unbelievable. But he didn't eat. He didn't drink nothing. I had a sandwich. I had a drink. I fell asleep, and this guy, he put his head down once, maybe twice, but for 5 minutes, and then he went right back to his asmada. So it was good for me. It was mamish kedai to fly there just to see, like,
yes. You're not playing fair.
Why?
You were using Yetzer HaTov in your asmada. He's using his Yetzer Hara. So whoop-de-doo.
Okay, whatever it is that the guy had the ability to do this like that, I'm telling you, it was amazing. It was mamish amazing.
It's easy. I could use my Yetzer Hara for 4 hours straight too.
Yeah, but this wasn't like watching a movie. This was working on New York Times cross. It wasn't like, one of those crosswords from the dollar store. It was a New York.
For him, he gets more out of the crossword than he does out of the movie.
Okay, maybe I get something more out of learning than other people get out of the movie. It's not dafka,
Oh,
right?
so that's the trick. We got to get a Yitzhar involved in learning too.
Oh, that's an old shtickle. We've discussed it many times. If you want to, if you could distract yourself with a good distraction of Yiddishkeit, that's how you keep away from the distractions. Right? Did that make sense? If you could distract yourself with something good, then you can stay away from the distractions. That's the only way. Otherwise, you're distracted. That's why we learned the Kitzur thing at 10 o'clock at night. The late night with the Kitzur on channel, Zoom, whatever. Eretz's Zoom channel. All right. Everybody should have Basuras Tavis, and everybody should be Matzliach and distracting
I'm
themselves.
gonna go look at New York Times crossword. I gotta see what the hype is about.
You know what? Naftali, if you can do a New York Times crossword, then I'll come do the Kitzur shir in your house. All right?
Wow. All right.
But Lee Nether, but I'm just saying.
Lee Nether.
Yeah.
All right.